Just a wrap up of the council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for Monday, August 27th. Just a few things I want to touch on. One of the things in the consent agenda, we approved a resolution authorizing our 2018 budgeted operating transfers. That's some money that we transfer around every year to make sure that everything gets paid on time within the departments. We entered into a lease agreement with ISD 318. We approved a proposal for improvements to the practice soccer fields with the Grand Rapids Sports Complex and Legion Baseball Field. We approved proposals for some balancing change orders and final payment for infrastructure improvement bonds. We also approved an SLA with SEH for the construction of the Grand Rapids Cohasset Trail. For those of you wondering where that is, you can take Highway 63. I still call it the Thunder Bridge. It's the Skalman Bridge. So from Highway 2 out to 76, where we have a trail connection at 76 and 63, we'll connect that trail all the way to Highway 2, and that'll give us some mobility enhancements, along there for bikers, walkers, and stuff. So that was approved tonight as well. We entered into an agreement with Damberg, Scott, Grazina, and Wagner for fixtures, furniture, and equipment at the City Hall here as we've been going through some remodeling. And then department head. It's actually not a department head. We have a department head report every council meeting, but Julie Kennedy has been anxiously wanting to come in and give a report on the PUC periodically. So Julie Kennedy from the Public Utilities Commission came in and gave an in-depth report on where we are as a PUC. They give out about 1 million gallons a day of water. They take in about 6 million gallons a day of waste that they treat. It serves not only Grand Rapids, but La Prairie, Cohasset, Harris Township, and I think they have the ability, on the 6 million gallons that they operate, they have the ability to treat up to 15 million gallons. So our wastewater treatment facility, although being fairly new, is robust in that we have a lot of room for expansion in the city and the wastewater area. So she also talked about some meter change out. Water meters and stuff are partway through, about 90% done on the meter reading. To turtlebacks, I call them turtlebacks, that's automatic meter reading systems. So all in all, the PUC is keeping up with technology and moving forward. There will be a community activity as far as a luncheon coming up. We just don't know the date, but look for that out on the PUC website. So hopefully a lot of folks from the community, when that date is published, will be able to get over to the PUC, get some tours, some rides on the bucket trucks, and have a lunch with PUC members. Tom Pagel gave a report on a memorandum of understanding that Grand Rapids has entered into with IASC, Itasca Area Schools Collaborative, or Project Grand Rapids, on the early child education program at the kids campus, and it's part of the Project Grand Rapids, and that went well. This evening we had a public hearing. One of the things that we are looking at as we are continuing to grow as a community is our ordinances around sections of land development regulations, so Chapter 30, and we had one that pertained tonight. We actually changed 3 sections: the heights of buildings, the number of stalls you need for parking, and what signage can look like. So the building height was changed from 35 to 50 feet. The stalls were actually reduced a little bit in order to accommodate 1 per 3. It moves to 1 per 5 units and 1 per room, and then 1 per employee. So if you compared it to the new regulation to what the old one, the example that we would use would be Timberlake Lodge, and Timberlake Lodge under the old one to what they would be under the new one, they could actually be down about 9 parking spaces. So all in all, the big part of it was for heights and for signage, but it's something we felt we needed to do in order to be in compliance with most of the other cities that are about our size. Chief Johnson was in this evening and talked about the need to replace a couple of our squad cars. So We authorized the purchase of 2 new squad cars for 2019 budget year, actually doing them early, and that we wanted to get into the queue so that we are having the ability to have those vehicles here when we do need them. So the council authorized that request for a number not to exceed $100,000 for the 2 squads, which is about $52,000 for the vehicles, and then you got another almost $50,000 in there of equipment that goes into them vehicles. And then lastly, we finished up with retirement of our chief, Mike Liebel. Mike Liebel is spent at the end of September. He will have had another 20 years, complementing the 20 years that his dad, Bob, put into the fire department. It's kind of funny how things parallel. So Mike followed his dad in. His dad worked at a bakery, but also then worked at the sheriff's department as a jailer, and Mike works for Itasca County as a road officer, and they both spent 20 years, and they both ended up being chiefs. So we are going into the process of filling those positions, and the positions that as bumping naturally occurs underneath. Some of them other positions will be filled, but we certainly want to wish Mike the best. He's going to still be out there as a road officer for the county, but it was just getting so hectic, and with his 20 years approaching, it was time, he felt, to step aside and let another member of the fire department take over as chief, and then he can concentrate his last years with the sheriff's department. So we wish Mike well as he cuts his schedule back a little bit. So with that, I look forward to seeing all of you again in 2 weeks. Thanks, and have a good evening.